Hello everyone, I'm Meghamala, working assistant professor, and I'm here to talk about wireless communications and network. And today we are going to discuss something about channel assignment and strategies. So before we move into this topic, let us recapitulate the previous topics regarding the fundamentals of wireless communication network. So in the last classes, we have discussed about the channels. We have discussed about the channel allocation and the frequency reuse. So the last class itself, we have discussed what is a channel basically, and how the frequencies can be reused multiple times, not for the one or two times, but many a times in the cell station, we can reuse the frequency. Okay, so what are the in the last class itself also we have discussed about the basic fundamental diagram of wireless communication system, where it consists of base stations. We have base stations and we have transmitter and receiver, base station, transmitter and receiver stations, and many more. Okay, so today we will discuss something about the channel assignment strategies. So what are the strategies to be followed, or else what are the strategies to be made in order to allocate the channels and also the frequencies? So the channel allocation means to allocate the availability of channels to the cells in a cellular system. So for example, if this is a cellular system, so to this cellular system, the allocation of the channels, how the allocations of the channels can be made to this cellular system. This is the basic point. And the second one is when a user want to make a call request, then by using a channel allocation strategies, and their requests are fulfilled or not. So, for example, there is a cell station and here is a user. So now this user wants to make a call, or else he just want to make a communication with the people who are in the other part of the world. So what he does is he just make a request, the call request, which is sent to this channel, which is sent to the base station, and then there itself the channels are allocated, right, with different numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, and so on. So the channels will be allocated, and now it is the priority of the channel, the priority of the switching of the call can be happen with respect to this base station. That means what the user can make a calls, he can make a conversation, or else he can make a better communication with the other part with the help of this channel allocation strategies. And the channel allocation strategies are designed in such a way that there is an efficient use of frequencies, time slots, and bandwidth. So in order to have a better communication, in order to feel a user a better way of communicate with the people, then there are three basic prominent things that we can see over here. Is first one is all about the frequency, the second one is a time slots, and always the third one is the bandwidth. So we know about the frequency. So frequency is nothing but 1 upon the time period, right? So if in order to have a better communication, the users or else a channel allocation should be made in such a way that the switching of calls should be done in a better way. And then these are the types of channel allocation strategies. So these are like fixed, they are dynamic, hybrid channel allocation, and borrowing channel allocation, and regarding all these channel allocation strategies we'll explain one by one. So first of all, the channel allocation schemes, under these schemes there are the two basic schemes. One is the fixed one, this is nothing but static one, and the second one is the dynamic one. So under the static one we have basics, fixed, borrowing, and hybrid. Okay, so these comes under the static, and the dynamic one, one of the strategic plan or scheme which comes under this static is a flexible. Okay, so the flexible is a general one with respect to the static and also to the dynamic. So under the dynamic, we have predictive and we have scheduled. So we know the words like static and dynamic, how they varies. The static it is a constant one where a few things cannot be changed, whereas the dynamic one, the manipulations or else a few things can be changed. Alternations can be done easily in the dynamic schemes. And then the fixed channel allocation. So we will discuss the one by one. First of all, the basic categories, that is a fixed one. So the fixed channel allocation, it is a strategy with the fixed number of channels or voice channels are allocated to the cell. So for example, if this is a cell, so over to the cell, there are the fixed channels are fixed, and also the channels are fixed with the number of channels. The number of channels will be fixed, and also the voice channels are allocated to the cell. So the channels are fixed. So the number of channels will be fixed. The word itself says that the number of channels will be fixed to it. And once the channels are allocated to the specific cells, then they cannot be changed. So yes, as it is a static channel scheme, so once the channels are allocated to this particular cell, once the channels are allocated, then we cannot remove or else we cannot add to it. That means what? It is unchangeable. And then in fixed channel allocations are allocated in a manner that maximizes frequency reuse. So in the yesterday concept, we have discussed the frequency reuse. So frequency reuse is nothing but the frequency can be reused many times. The particular set of frequency can be reused to the cells many times. Like for example, in the previous class, we have discussed about the hexagonal channel allocations. We have discussed about the shapes of channel. So there are three basic shapes. They goes with the circle, they goes with a square, and they goes with a hexagon, right? So among these three types of shapes, the final one, the hexagon, is being given priority, because here in this channel allocation, see, we have a base station, and to this we have a channel. So in the channel we have a cells are divided into n number of cells. For example, we have a formula yesterday, S is equals to n into K, right? So K is a number of channels, number of cells, and we can call it as a cluster as well. So here in the fixed channel allocation, the maximum number of frequency reuse can be happen. So in a cell of 20 channels, so for example, this is a cell, here we have 20 channels. So in this 20 channels or 20 voice calls can be allocated, but these voice calls or as these channels are fixed. They can be the number of channels cannot be added more and cannot be removed. So if channels are occupied and user make a call, then the call is blocked. So here already to this particular cell, in the particular cell, already if the channels are allocated, already the priority of the channels are given. Once a user make a call, and then the next moment the call will be blocked, because here already the channels are fixed. And then borrowing channels handles this type of problem. This cell borrow channels from other cells. So we have the borrowing channels. So borrowing channels means once a cell is fixed, once a call is fixed to that particular channel, then the next user cannot make a call, or else it cannot take it back, because already it is blocked. So here, so once a cell is blocked, the another cell can be borrowed. So that is nothing but the borrowing channel. This problem can be handled by the borrowing channel. So here we have A, B, C. A is a cell, A, B, C are the cells. So all over this, there are three cells, A, B, C. So to these cells, we have the channels. The channels have been allocated to three different cells. So for A cells, 20 channels have been allocated. For B cells, 5 channels have been allocated. For C cells, 10 channels have been allocated. So the allocations of the channels have been meant to the cells, and the frequency reuse can be maximized. And once a channel is blocked, then it cannot be reused again. So here are few advantages and disadvantages of this fixed channel allocation. Like under the advantages, we say it is simple to implement and manage. Because here the channels are fixed, so it is very easy and it is very simple to make a call or else to have a better communication, and it does not require complex equipment or algorithms. So as it is very clear, it is a fixed channel allocation, so it is very easy and it is very compatible. So as it is very easy and compatible, so the other algorithms or other complex equipment cannot be needed. And then the disadvantages for this is the limited channel utilization, as unused channels remain unused. So if suppose the channel in the channel we have 10 cells. So over the 10 cells, if 8 cells are used, 8 channels, here we have a one cell. So to this one cell, for example, 8 channels are used, so 2 are remaining. So this 2, we can say that the limited channel utilizations are unused, channels remain unused. So when the channels are not in use, so it is a waste of the space or as a time slot or frequency which is given to that they are unused. So that is a disadvantages. And one of the disadvantages, the interferences. So as the frequencies are blocked, as the channels are blocked, we see that there are we do experience the interferences. The unwanted channel disturbances can be happen in this frequency channel allocation. And then we have a dynamic channel allocation. So here in this is a strategy in which channels are not permanently allocated to the cells. So it is a dynamic. Dynamics means it keeps on changing. So in the fixed channel allocation, we see that the channels are fixed permanently. Whereas here in the dynamic channel allocation, the channels are not fixed. Rather, the channels are not fixed to allocate to that particular cells. And then when a user makes a call request to the base station and sends the request to the mobile switching center for the allocation of channels or voice channels. So as it is a dynamic, it keeps on changes. So when a user wants to make a call, he sends a request to the base station, and then that request can be sent to the mobile switching center, right? So here is a user and he sent a request to the base station, and then from this base station, it sends again a request to the mobile switching center for the allocation of channels. And then this way is likelihood for blocking channels is reduced. Blocking calls are reduced. So in the fixed channel allocation, we see call blocking. Call blocking is happening with the fixed channel allocation, whereas in the dynamic channel allocation, we say that the blocking calls can be reduced. And then as traffic increase, more channels are assigned and vice versa. So if there is a dump of, or if there is a traffic which is increasing with respect to the calls, if the flow of calls are increasing, then the more number of channels can be assigned to it, because there is a possibility of adding channels to this. Because it is a dynamic channel allocation, we can add more number of channels, whereas in the fixed channel allocation, there is no possibility of adding channels or removing channels. But whereas here, based on the increase in the traffic, we can easily add the channels, or else we can easily remove the channels. And there are few dynamic channel allocations, advantages and disadvantages. The advantages are efficient use of available bandwidth, right? Efficient use of available bandwidth, and reduces the call blocking. This is one of the important criteria. So as you reduce the call blocking, it improves the call quality. The quality of call can be increased, and it allows for dynamic allocation of resources. So it allows the dynamic allocation of the resources can be allocated easily, because the channels can be added to it. And then the disadvantages is it requires more complex equipment and algorithms. It requires more complex equipment, and then may result in call drops or poor quality if resources are not available. So if resources are not available, it means that the call results in a drop. The call can be dropped because of its poor quality, and which is not a good one, which is not a good factor to be considered. And then the third one we have is hybrid channel allocation. It is a combination of both fixed and dynamic channel. Okay, so it's a hybrid channel. It's a combination of both fixed and dynamic. So here the total number of channels or voice channels are divided into fixed and dynamic set. Yes, so fixed and dynamic set, both the channels are allocated or it's divided. And when a user makes a call, first it fixed set of channels are utilized. But if all the fixed sets are busy, then dynamic sets are used. Yes, so here if a user make a call first, then what happens is the first fixed sets of channels are utilized. So this is a fixed set and this is a dynamic set. So whole combination is a hybrid combination. So when a user makes a call, first it occupies a fixed set, and if this fixed set is completed or else it is filled, then it moves on to the dynamic set. Okay, so this sort of things can be happen in this dynamic because it's a combination of both fixed and dynamic. And the main purpose of this hybrid channel allocation is to work efficiently under heavy traffic and maintain a minimum signal to interference ratio. So this is what signal to interference ratio, where the purpose of this hybrid channel allocation, it works efficiently under heavy traffic because there is a possibility of switching on from fixed to dynamic. And then there are the advantages and disadvantages of this hybrid channel allocation. So it provides the benefits of both FCA and DCA, and it allows for dynamic allocation of resources while maintaining predictable call quality. So it maintains a predictable call quality. It do predicts and it gives the assurance that call can be heard properly. And then the disadvantages, it requires more complex equipments and algorithms than fixed channel, and they may not be used for the same level of efficiency as pure as dynamic channel allocation. So these are the disadvantages under hybrid channel allocation. And borrowing channel allocation is one of the scheme which falls under this channel strategies. So here when a cell experiences high traffic demand, so here is a cell when it experiences high traffic, when the flow of the calls is maximum, then all of its channels are occupied. So over in this cell, all the channels are occupied. If all channels are occupied, then it can borrow channels from neighboring cells. So here we have, for example, here have 10 channels. So 10 channels are allotted like this. Okay. So if for suppose channel 1 it has 10 channels. Channel 1 is a set of 10 channels, and all these 10 channels are allocated, and then the other users will come and they make a call. So the users, if they make a call, then what happens is the neighboring cells will help them to give a channel, right? So the channels can be borrowed from the other neighboring cells, and then the borrowed channels are assigned to a busy cell and are used to support additional traffic demand. So based on the traffic, it's not that like to have a burden on one cell, but based on the traffic, the burden on one cell can be shared among the neighboring cells. And then once the demand subsides, the borrowed channels are released and returned to their home cell. Yes, so once here the traffic becomes slower down, then all the channels which are helped by the neighboring cells can get back to their original position. The channels can get back to their original cells or the home cells. And then the advantages and disadvantages to this borrowing channel allocations are efficient use of available bandwidth, and reduces call blocking and improves call quality. And then the disadvantages is interferences will be maximum between the cells, because here the neighboring cells are helping the parent cells, okay, in order to reduce the traffic. So here in this scenario, we can experience some interferences. So that is a drawback for this borrowing channel allocation. And then this borrowing channel allocation can cause call drops if borrowed channels are remain by the home cell. And this is remained by the home cell, and this is a fixed channel and static channel strategy. So these are the differences like it has given. So this is all about the channel assignment strategies. So far we have discussed the fixed channel and the dynamic channel allocation. Under the fixed channel We have discussed the three major channel allocation strategies. So here, channel allocation strategies: fixed, borrowing, and hybrid. Whereas in the dynamic, we have we need to discuss the dynamic one. In the next class, we'll discuss what are the predictive channel allocation and scheduling channel allocation. So I hope you have understood today's topic. It's all about the channel assignment strategies. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.